You're welcome to a fresh edition of your program, Towards a Greater Nigeria. And today we're looking at the activities, plans, policies, programs of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. At FIRS today, things are getting better than ever before. I filed my taxes and I didn't have to go through any stress doing it. I'm saying this because I had a hands-on experience doing what I needed to do. The stress of yesteryears are gone. We say kudos to Babatunde Fowler's administration and the members, all the members of his team. We knew the good works he did in Lagos State, and so little wonder why the federal government brought him to the national level to do the same. But he tells me I don't do it alone, Motayo. I do it with a crop of young, dynamic men and women of Nigeria.
No one is in doubt about the huge changes which the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has in recent times brought about regarding what comes to government as funds for national development. What seems to percolate from it all is that, given the right leadership, vision, information mix, and a good dose of the will, no assignment is mission impossible. The Nigerian government has every reason to expect and actually yearn for better funding. But while these hopes are legitimate, government is desirous of other sources of revenue against the backdrop of dwindling proceeds from crude oil. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, remains a chief player in accruable non-oil proceeds to a government bent on redeeming its electioneering promises. In the first edition of our series on FIRS, the executive chairman, Babatunde Fowler, spelled out a work plan that has not only worked reasonably well, but is set for even better application and results. Let's recall that the FIRS executive chairman hosted students from his alma mater, Ibobi College, Lagos, some time ago. Part of what he told the young ones when he received them was that they would grow into potential taxpayers and administrators. Those were words from a visionary about proper perception for taxation. Fowler's FIRS is indeed ingrained in the tax culture in a populace which is not against paying tax, but has been lagging due to absence of the tools to bring potential taxpayers on board.
It's well known that we have one of the lowest tax to GDP ratios in the world, at just 6%. The countries which we aspire to join on average at 30 to 32%, which basically means that the size of government budget, both state and local, is not big enough to serve the needs of this nation. It isn't because there isn't enough money, it is because there isn't enough money coming in to government. And that is what we are here today to correct. So I'm to welcome you. I'm to thank all the governors. I'm to thank everybody that has taken time to come out here today to stand with us, because this is a national effort. It's a national issue that requires a collective and national effort. And I want to congratulate Nigerians, because Nigeria is at a crossroads. If we pass this test, the future of Nigeria is bright and is assured.
But Fowler is not alone in enunciating a message that translates to more money into the coffers of the government. His team of immediate lieutenants involves men and women who are equally eager to post positive results. As we go down the administrative line to reveal members of Fowler's team's initiatives, we come across officers who are simply proud to be members of a winning team. One of them is Abiodun Aino, Coordinating Director and Special Advisor to the Executive Chairman. He traces an impressive innovative action by the Executive Chairman. New tools of work are now the vogue at FIRS. And as we make our inquiries, one of the new approaches to delivering quality service, the People, Process and Technology, PPT principle, pops up naturally.
Okay, PPT was just one of those, and another acronym again. When we came in, Chairman felt that we need to do something to be able to deliver on his mandate and the vision he has for Federal Revenue Service. And so he had to take a look at the people that were on ground and people that he needs to bring on along to also enhance and strengthen the team. He also has to look at the process of doing things in FIRS, and then finally using technology to drive that process. That is where we come with the word PPT: people, the process, and technology. For the people, what he did is to see how to encourage our people to give more and to understand that what they are doing is a national service. Yeah, he had to find a way to enhance their commitment. When he came on board, for instance, people get bonus. FRS staff get bonus when our performance is at 60%. But he had what I would call a community meeting with all the staff, and he's asked this question: if you score 60% in any examination, will you consider yourself as passed? Everybody said no. So he said, look, we must be able to increase that. So we moved that to 80%.
Wow.
So now in FRS, if we do not achieve 80% of target, we don't get bonus. And in terms of the process as well, before now, we have what we call large tax offices, medium tax offices, and then medium and small scale tax offices. Now, we have just about 9 tax offices across the nation. Part of re-engineering the process was that we now said taxpayer can now decide where they want to file their returns. So you don't have to travel more than, say, 30 minutes, 1 hour for you to get to the destination where you're going to file your return. That is part of re-engineering the process as well. Again, registering for taxes when we came on board was, the registration form has about, I think, 30 pages form. That was quite cumbersome. Yeah, and we said, even myself, I'm going to register to pay tax and I have to go through all that. It becomes discouraging. Immediately he came on board as well. He asked the committee to review that, and we came up with a 1-page document that you can also use to register for your taxes. So these are the processes he has also to re-engineer, among several that he has to do. So that's why we said the people were re-engineered, refocused, the process was tweaked and then re-engineered, and then we use technology to drive the process as well to achieve our mandate.
The technology segment of it has been behind the ever-rising seamlessness of filing tax. It's all planked on the wonderful use that online interaction has been put to. Aino explains further.
The background to that is that Nigeria is rated 169 out of 190 countries in terms of ease of doing business. This administration felt that is not good enough.
It's not a pass.
Yes, and then we felt we have to do something about it. Specifically for us in FRS, we felt that we need to use technology to drive our mandate, which is collecting revenue for the nation. And so the way we felt we need to do this is what the chairman coined, and he called ICT. Now, ICT is not in the way that most people know it as information communication technology. For us, ICT in FRS means innovation, convenience of paying of taxes for our taxpayers, and then transparency. And to drive this, FIRS launched 6 e-services. One of them is e-payment. We have e-registration. We have e-stamp duty. We have e-receipt. And we have ETCC. All these are designed to make sure that payment of taxes become very, very convenient for taxpayers, such that they can make their payment from the comfort of their home, from their offices, without having to come to our offices. It also enhances transparency because it kind of reduces human intervention. So when you request for your tax clearance, for instance, you can do that in the comfort of your home, and then someone at the back end process your tax clearance certificate and email it to you.
In our first edition, FIRS Executive Chairman Babatunde Fowler said part of the reason for the success at FIRS is the cooperation it fosters between it and partner agencies. One officer who is absolutely savvy about the nature of this synergy is the Secretary, Joint Tax Board.
The Personal Income Tax Act, specifically Section 86, provides for establishment of Joint Tax Board. And as I was saying, the composition includes the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the 36 State Internal Revenue Service, the Federal Capital Territory Internal Revenue Service, and some other institutions that are co-opted, and some of them have one or two things to do with revenue generation. They include the Federal Ministry of Finance. We know the role of Federal Ministry of Finance. The ministry acts as the competent authority as far as tax matters are concerned for the country. No state on its own will go into discussion on tax matter without going through the Federal Ministry of Finance. So finance provides policy framework for administration of taxation in Nigeria. So it's also a member of the Joint Tax Board. Then we have Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, also as a member. We have the Nigerian Customs Service as a member. We know the role of Customs Service in revenue generation. The Nigerian Immigration Service also, they're also a member. The information about expatriate we usually obtain from the immigration. The Federal Road Safety Co. also a member of the Joint Tax Board. They produce the number plates, the driver's license, which are a source of revenue for the State Internal Revenue Service. Then we have the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, a body of the tax practitioners in Nigeria, also members of the Joint Tax Board. And recently we
so
also...
it cuts across?
Yes.
All the relevant
yes. We recently, the Nigerian Governors Forum also have been given observer status of the Joint Tax Board. Okay. So in a nutshell, those are the members of the Joint Tax Board.
London, New York or Lagos, business or holiday, home or office, you can now carry out your tax transactions from anywhere in the world. You can now file all your tax returns, pay online, get a receipt and even process your tax clearance certificate from anywhere in the world online and in real time. All you need to do is log on to www.firs.gov.ng and click on e-services and be introduced to the world of innovation, convenience and transparency from the FIRS. You can also pay stamp duty as you register a new company with the CAC or for other transactions that require stamp duty payment online. You can also file your withholding tax returns and determine the withholding tax deducted from you is in government covers so that you can get your receipt within 45 days as long as the deduction has been remitted. Yes, all of this and more online at www.firs.gov.ng/e-services. FIRS, making tax administration as easy as ABC. Please note that all FIRS services are free of charge. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service. It pays to pay your tax.
With the deep progress in online activities, FIRS has developed a section nicknamed the Engine Room of Tax Administration in Nigeria, the Integrated Tax Administration System, ITAS. ITAS has indeed contributed greatly to the ever-spreading news from the service. It's been a long walk to a stage where the taxpayer is now part of assessing his own tax. We have listed some of the departments of the FIRS responsible for the efficiency the Revenue House is currently known for. Still on that route, a vital unit no one can contest its relevance is ICT. Its director is Kola Okola.
In the past, most of our processes were largely manual, but in order to improve and to make it easier for taxpayers to fulfill their civic obligations, the Federal Inland Revenue Service has come up with a cocktail of electronic services, online self-service electronic services. We have 6 key ones that are worthy of mention. The first one I would like to talk about is the e-registration and e-verification. The second one is the e-filing. The third service is the e-payment. The fourth service is the ETCC, the fifth service is the e-receipt, and the sixth service is the e-stamp duty. So you can see that we've come up with an array of electronic services in the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
I saw them all in the newspapers today. That is
true. The change has started from within. There's been tremendous capacity building of the Federal Inland Revenue staff, both the technical staff and also the operational staff. Our staff have been trained internally on how to use these platforms, and also the Federal Inland Revenue Service has put out a lot of information for the taxpayers, both in the news media, the print, that's the electronic media, but the television adverts, radio adverts, radio jingles. And what we are doing also is an example of the efforts of the Federal Inland Revenue Service to get the message out across to taxpayers and to the Nigerian citizens that we have these platforms available now. So as the popular saying goes, change begins with you and I. So we started the change internally with us at the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Suffice it to say that the end goal of the many innovations at FIRS today is maximum efficiency with the deployment of minimal cost. This is so important to the job of the service that it dedicates an entire unit to ensuring total efficiency. According to his director, Faramadio Gusonya, it's all about doing things right. The concept, which he says took root in some countries abroad, ensures that government is run in such a way that it benefits the people maximally. Nigeria's finance minister, Kemi Adoshu, incorporated it in her ministry. Since then, some parastatals have followed suit, with FIRS occupying the vanguard of those intent on gaining from an attractive model.
What does efficiency mean? It means doing things right. It means looking at the way you used to do things and ensure that you are doing it as good as that in the best possible way. It means ensuring that your service delivery to the public and in fact also to the staff is done the best way you can. It means looking at the values that you lay out there. Products and goods that you are buying, are you buying it at the best prices?
Exactly.
It looks at the efficiency of your procedures. Are your procedures the best it can be? It also looks into so many other areas. How are we serving our public? Are we efficient? Are the public getting their tax clearances as soon as they need it? And all these go towards ensuring that there is the maximum ease in doing business in Nigeria.
Are there special tools for achieving the department's target?
The modalities that are being put in place is ensuring that the service operates with better modernization. We look at our operations, how best do we deliver service, and how best do we increase our revenue. Revenue generation these days require a lot of automation. We have gone beyond the stage where we go from door to door, and we are trying to look into how we can ensure that a lot of modernization is put into everything we do. We have a lot of new products. We are ensuring now that tax clearances are delivered paperless.
Yeah.
That is, you can apply for your tax clearance online and you can receive your tax clearance online.
The good thing, according to Gusonya, is that FIRS offices across the country are properly coordinated to maintain required standards. He says the service is moving towards making sure that you virtually achieve all your interaction with it online. For his counterpart in the Program Management Office, PMO, the delivery of all projects is the preoccupation. Ike Obihara says his office ensures that all departments in FIRS deliver on their mandate.
In order to modernize, computerize, and change processes and policies that align with efficient use of that computerization, We have the program management department, and what we cover is we have two groups. One which is our core business, which is tax, and the core business of tax has the projects that relate to tax automation, VAT automation, and the different tax types. The other group is what we call non-tax, and it's all the services: procurement, finance, legal, asset management, human capital management, payroll.
More like support services. Support services.
Yes, all the support services. Yeah. And then the next two components of the department are what we would call business assurance, which is that department that analyzes a business case before it becomes a project. So you would identify what you want to achieve, identify a business goal, and then analyze it fully before you make it into a project. The third component, so we've got projects, we've got business analysis assurance, and then the next component is change management. And the change management is the social side. If people are not willing to make the change, you failed.
Very true.
And so in order to make a change, a project has to measure what we call DICE. First of all, it must have a direction. The next, it must have the people who are interested in the project. So you must identify your interest groups and create that interest. The S is, of course, your specific, and then the E is that it's acceptable. So you have to get people aligned at all levels with your project to deliver it, and so that's a major component. And that's really what makes up a project. And once the project is achieved, it's handed back to the business as a new procedure and a way of doing business.
Obihara reveals that a modernization group is in place and actually drops a mind-blowing proposition about knowing the taxpayer.
What have we delivered? We've first of all built up the internal capacity to deliver to the public services based on that capacity. That's the first. So we build that state of readiness, and
real state of readiness.
So we are at that point. And really, what's left is to integrate with all the different parts of the country to create a system where the taxpayer really doesn't have anywhere to go outside of FIRS.
No dodging.
Yes. So, we would integrate to banks, and we know your BVN number, so we can identify you on your different accounts. We would integrate to the different GIS organizations, so we know what land you own. We would integrate to road safety, we know what cars you have. So we know your property, we know your cars. We've integrated to the stock exchange already. We know the shares and the dividend you earn. So we know your income, and we can integrate to immigration. So we know who's in the country, who's not in the country. We can know what portion of your tax is supposed to be in hard currency, what part is in Naira. So, and automation is the only way we can do this. And the other thing is, we have 7,000 staff.
Okay.
An interesting thing is, the IRS in America has close to 100,000 staff, servicing 300 million people. We are 180 million.
More than half.
We should have 50,000 staff to deliver, but we have 7,000. So reality is, for those 7,000 to do more work, they have to do it electronically.
Very true.
So it's only through automation that we can actually reach out and handle the numbers that we should handle, and increase those numbers without losing efficiency while we increase that compliance.
When you listen to FIRS officers, you get the impression you are talking to men and women of deliberate competency. And they need it too. What with the huge expectations from government, which, having tasted the power and capacity of these tax collectors, has had its appetite whetted. The job may be daring, but when you are properly equipped for an assignment, far from being intimidated by it, you go at it hammers and tongs. That's what's happening at the Federal Inland Revenue Service. This is yet an edition of FIRS at work. It is not the last.
Well, viewers, this is where we call it a day on your program Towards a Greater Nigeria. It is a series on public enlightenment, especially looking at the activities, plans, policies, programs of FIRS. Here at FIRS, a revolution is going on. A revolution in tax administration. I remain your anchor, Omotayo Maltisho. Join us next week for the continuation of this program. God bless you. Good night.